Awesome. Okay, so just to recap on what we've just done, we have viewed the video, and now we're going to start talking about the materials, support materials that were distributed. And I am going to share my screen again, just so we can kind of look at each one and discuss. And, everybody feel free to unmute. And if you have any questions as we're going through anything, just holler, just ask away. So let me get this up here. Hold on. Okay, so this is the transcript, and it looks a little bit intimidating. Can everybody see that? I want to make sure everybody can see that. Yeah. Okay. It looks a little bit intimidating. It's 90 pages long, but I strongly encourage you to print it out. And when you're preparing, this would be the best way to prepare for the training, is to go through the video again, along with the transcript. You can see all of the on-screen text as well as the narration, and you can use the transcript to decide to plan out your training and, highlight areas that are appropriate for discussion, for feedback, for talking about your own organization's policies. So there's just a lot of, this is it. This is like the document that shares everything that's in the video, that displays everything that's in the video. So I strongly encourage you to, use that as your guide for planning your training. And like I said, it's got the answers to the questions, the serious challenges, and goes through the whole thing. Any comments or questions about the transcript? Okay. All right. I'm going to stop sharing this, and we're going to go to our next document, which is the timing. Okay. So this is just a brief document that has some estimated timing. So again, you can use this for your planning along with your transcript. And so it has the full training. The video itself is about 75 minutes long, as we just went through. And these are all the sections, the main sections in the video. You have the introduction, doing the right thing, playing by the rules, working together, protecting information, and then the conclusion. Depending on how much discussion you have, to view the entire video along with discussion, I would suggest you set aside at least 2 hours. It'll probably be somewhere between 2 and 2.5 hours to go through the entire video with time for feedback and discussion. If you're going to do it section by section, doing the right thing, the first section that we watched, again, you might want to do the intro, always do the intro and then skip to that section. That would be about 25 minutes. And then with the discussion, about an hour. And then the next section is pretty short. about 10 to 15 minutes. And so with discussion, might be 20 minutes, might be 30 minutes. Working together, the same thing. It's a very short session, about 15 minutes, and then with discussion, about a half an hour. And the final section, protecting information, that's short also. So that's just a very basic timing document. Any questions, comments about this?
I am curious about how you trainers are thinking about doing this. Are you thinking about doing it in pieces, or are you thinking about doing it all at once? I don't understand your, your operations and how that works, but I'm just curious what you're thinking.
I'll start out. I'll probably do it in segments because it's hard to get everybody here for that amount of time. So my guess is, a few people at a time doing segments is probably going to work best rather than all at once.
Great. Anybody else?
I will be sitting down one-on-one with the HR director for LaPorte County. And then I'm assuming then she does it on her own for her employees. Is that the correct way to assume that?
Well, I mean, we don't know what the process is for, within the county, but so it's fine. I mean, it can be done. It can be done individually. It can be done with small groups, large groups, because it would be presented exactly the way I played the video and presented it today.
Okay. And do you want us to go ahead and get some of this done before the end of the year? And then is it something that's going to be a requirement on an annual basis, kind of as a refresher, or only for new employees?
Well, again, the commission does not really have any rules around that. And
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have any requirements. These are tools that we provide you. We strongly encourage you to use them because that's why you join the commission.
Yeah.
So these are tools that we provide, but we're not going to be tracking anything. We're not going to be, nobody has to send us proof that the training was done. I mean, these are things that we strongly encourage. This is what the communities are spending their dues money on.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I would add that while there isn't really an official way for us to track, we do try to encourage our communities to do this training at least once a year with all employees. And then for new employees, at the very least, providing that ethics guide that Cal showed you in the intro, but also maybe taking them through some of it. One of the things that we did in 2019 that I think we're hoping to do in the next year or two is we'll do a survey of all your employees and ask them questions about ethics training and basically the value that we provide as a commission. And so before that survey goes out, we really push hard for you all to get your employees trained. And we ask you to come back, we'll ask our commissioners, your commissioner for your community, to talk to you all, the trainers, and say, hey, can you make sure you get 100% of your employees through some ethics training this year so that when we do the survey, we're getting a good result and a good point of view from the training. And so as Paula said, we can't require it. All of this is a bit voluntary, but we are looking for at least once a year, if that makes sense.
It does. And then I have one final question. There is some concern that LaPorte may not be re-upping next year because there has been
Drama.
Yes,
changes.
to put it mildly. So it is, and Monique is very sold on this, the new HR director. So I think she's going to be a great asset. However, if they decide and it is not re-upped in 2023, will she still have access to the video or no on the website?
The way the website is working right now is that anybody who goes to the website has access to this video. The truth is not a lot of people know the website's there because this is a member only kind of a thing. So theoretically, if we kept it on the homepage and didn't password protect it, she would have access to that. Ethically, though,
Right.
you're not
Where it's
paying
gonna go,
dues
yeah.
as a community member. I think it would be a little bit questionable about
Yeah.
whether or not it's appropriate for LaPorte County to use that training.
Yeah, well, I guess at least she's got the initial where she kind of has the groundwork and the framework for her to do things on her own individually if it comes down to that. I'm hoping it doesn't come down to that, but it's just too soon to say right now,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
in April, if you're starting to see that, please let us know, because
I
John,
will.
Cal, and I and Paula, we can all visit LaPorte County and talk to them about the value of, this new training. I think in and of itself, this new training is very valuable to communities. So
Yeah.
hopefully they would choose to stay on for that purpose and that purpose alone.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Maybe once they, they see the training or, are exposed to it a little bit and see, the value that it has, that might help inform their decision a little bit about that.
For sure.
Mhm.
So what I'll do is I'll talk with you guys offline because I don't want to take up everybody's time to kind of let you know what my game plan is.
Okay. Okay. So, the next document that I had sent to you guys is just a copy of the code. I don't think we need to review that today. Everybody should have that. And there were also, there were some 8.5 by 11 kind of thicker paper material codes, along with posters and along with the guide or the brochure that Cal was holding up earlier, which is this little thing. You can see that. That were distributed via your commissioners throughout this year. So we still have some of those supplies. If anybody needs any of that stuff, like the printed out code, two-sided code, or a poster, or the brochure, or the guide, call it guide, brochure, or whatever. If anybody needs that, you can contact me directly. All of those things are stored at NERC right now, and we can make arrangements to get over there and get them, have a commissioner pick them up, or whatever's most convenient. But you do have PDF copies of the code for your own printing if you want to print out. And there's a PDF copy of the ethics guide that, whoops, I don't know what happened here. There's a, something happened to my screen. So there's a PDF copy of the guide as well. So, all right. Let's move on. I'm going to share my screen again and talk about some of the other okay. Somehow we're looking at Sam DeCero's screen. I don't know how that happened. Sam, can you stop sharing? There you go. Okay, thanks. Let me go to the, let's see, talk about the guide. Ethics trainer instructions. Okay, so you have a copy of this in your materials, and I'll just go through this quickly. The document guides you as you prepare to provide ethics training to your municipality employees. This document lays out the 5 basic steps you can follow as you prepare and execute the training. And you've also been provided these resources. So again, you have the video, the transcript, the timing. There's things that we're going to discuss in a few minutes, agendas, PowerPoint slides, training notice, training sign-in sheet. You have the code, you have an evaluation sheet. There's a completion certificate prepared for you, a template for that, and then some training tips. So again, the first thing you want to do is to preview the materials and plan your training. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, view the video again. Hopefully today you got, you know, an overview of what it was, comprehensive overview, but strongly suggest you get the transcript, get a copy of the transcript, and view the video again, frame by frame, along with the transcript, and, you know, highlight, make notes in there, and plan what you need to focus on. Then you can look at the sample agenda and the template that we'll look at in a minute, and then customize your slides. You're probably not going to need a lot of slides because most of the training is the video, right? So I think the slides, you know, you can combine the slides, you have your agenda in there. You could maybe have a copy of the code to review, the portions from the guide, and maybe excerpts from policies or specific things that you want to focus on. The next step would be to schedule the training, identify the attendees, determine where it's going to be held. You want to pick a location where you can project the video. It's going to depend on, you know, if you're accessing the video from the website, then you know you're obviously going to need internet access. If you would prefer to have the video on your PC or your computer, like I said, you can contact me directly and I will share those files with you via a file share service. So, and then you can, you know, once you have all that figured out, you want to customize the template for the training notice to notify everybody, and distribute it however it is you distribute those kinds of things in your organization, either hard copy, post-it, email, whatever. On the day of the training, you want to make sure that your technology is working and that any printed materials are available. And then, you know, you should have copies of the agenda, the code, the evaluation sheet, and then your certificate of completion. Okay, and then you conduct the training, have the attendees sign in. We do have a sample sign-in sheet for you. And then go ahead and complete your training. And then there's a training evaluation. And then, you know, you can send those training evaluations instead of, this would be a mailing address, but I think it would be a lot easier if you just emailed that. You can email that to me directly, those training evaluations. That would be, I think that would be perfect. So this is kind of a summary of all the steps you would need to take and with the materials that you have. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to go to the next document, which is our training notice. Okay. Okay. So this is, again, a template for the training notice. Says what this is about, that our community as a member of the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission has voluntarily resolved to adopt the Code of Shared Ethics and Values. This ethics training will introduce you to that code and address potential ethical issues you may encounter. There's the website and some more information. So any questions or comments about this? Okay. And go to our next document, which is the agenda. Oops. So again, this is just another template that we prepared for you to use to make it a little bit easier and have, the estimates of the time there. Again, when you're planning your training and you're going through the video along with the transcript, I suggest you time that. And, you can estimate, once you know how much discussion, how much participation, if you're going to be reviewing policies, you'll have a better idea of the actual timing and the time that you'll need. And so you can better prepare for that, to work out the timing. Okay, let's go on to our next. Want to look at the training slides. This is a PowerPoint. Okay, so you have the title page. There's a welcome. You have your agenda, which you would, have previously worked on. This. There's an introduction, brief introduction to SEAC, who SEAC is, the Shared Ethics Advisory Commission, bringing ethics awareness and training to our communities, and what SEAC does, training, department head training, board and commission training, the summit, and the ethics pledge, candidate ethics pledge. Has the website. I encourage everybody to go to the website to view it, to see, there's a lot of information on the website, and we'll be taking a look at the website too before we finish today.
Hey, Paula, one thing I
Yeah.
would suggest to the trainers is if you're going to schedule training, you may want to invite your SEAC commissioner to join you, and they can cover these slides for you. So you don't have to do that. And it's always good for the SEAC folks to be visible to the employees as well. And then just as a quick correction on this particular slide, Westville is no longer a member. It's that changed. So we'll just need to remove that.
Okay, thanks, Julie. Okay. These are some of the materials I was talking about a little bit earlier that we have available for distribution, and you might want to check with your commissioner. I'm pretty sure most of the people in this training today have their commissioners have picked up these resources, but if not, like I said, you can let me know directly and we'll arrange for that. But we have that, what we call either a brochure or a guide, booklet, pamphlet that Cal was holding up in the intro. And then we have the code, and we had prepared posters and handouts with the code. So, and then this is a review of the code. So this would be a great opportunity to go through this with your training participants, and has And then we go into the, well, these are the preambles on the code. The actual values are listed out in the training video, as you saw on the screen. So, and then we have the sections of the training video with the topics that they cover: do the right thing, playing by the rules, working together, protecting information. And then there's a copy of the evaluation form, asking them to please complete that and hand that in so that you can share that with us. And then there's the thank you. So thanks to Julie for preparing this. This is did a great job. There is really, I think, everything that you need in this this sample PowerPoint and agenda.
And just as a note, I know this is a lot of material. We wanted to make sure you had every tool you could ever possibly want. You don't need to use these slides if you don't want to.
Right.
You know, the videos are very comprehensive, but if you're interested in using them, they're there for you.
Exactly. These are just resources, but you know, ultimately it's up to all of you to decide how you're going to do this, what you're going to do. But you know, we wanted you to have these resources just to help guide you through the process. Any questions or comments about that? Okay. Quickly, we will view the sharing, and then
Hey, Paula, can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
sure.
Do communities typically include their council members, board, committee members in ethical training?
So we have separate training for board and commission members, but certainly there's no reason why you couldn't invite them and include them. Absolutely.
Thank you.
We haven't done well, yeah, we did the board and commissioner training last summer, and I think it was like July of 2021. We did that. So that'll, you know, we'll be doing that again going into next year. It'll be scheduled. And that's a little bit different. It's usually like a speaker, kind of like a mini summit format. You know, we have like a speaker come in and you maybe talk about some, you know, case studies and stuff. But yeah, you can invite anyone you think is appropriate, you can invite to this training and share with.
I would just not do that. When I've done the trainings before, I find that the employees would speak more freely without town council and the politicians there. So if you're doing an employee training, I just wouldn't.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Thank you. So let's see.
And I do think the point is, for this training to be effective for employees, they should it's a safe place for them to talk and share their concerns. So that was a really good point. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. You would hope, you know, that wouldn't be the case, but that's completely understandable. Okay, so this is just a, you know, briefly just to show you the sign-in sheet. Again, you know, you guys might have these kinds of resources, in-house resources for your, you know, that you use for your other training programs or whatever. It's entirely up to you what you use. Like Julie said, you don't have to use these, but, you know, they are available. You know, some communities may not have all of these resources. Okay. And then just a couple more of these before we get to the training tips. Let's see. I'm going to look at the certificate of completion. So again, this is a really neat template that you can use if you'd like to. And then the evaluation form. And here's the evaluation form. So this we would definitely, like to ask you to use and have everybody complete. And both, for your own information and for ours. So, any questions on that? Okay, we're going to look at some trainer tips. So in the beginning, when we first started our meeting today, I asked all of you to, provide some introductions and whether you had training experience or if you had training experience, if you had experience using the materials from SEAC. And I know there are a couple people, there are several people that have a lot of training experience in their careers, and some that don't. So this document, I think, even for people that have training experience, this is a really good document to review. It's got some really good pointers. And this is from, I think the ICMA, it's like the International County Municipal Association, something like that. But it's the Association for Local Government Organizations. And that's where we got this information from. And so we'll just kind of go through this quickly. I'm not going to read verbatim, but I think it's important that everybody hears this, especially people that might not have a lot of experience in training. So obviously you want to prepare very carefully, review your related content. Hopefully you feel comfortable that the tools that we've given you will allow you to do that comfortably. I do want to say that if anybody has any questions after today's meeting, if you have any questions for me at all, please feel free to reach out to me. If you're looking at something or going through something and you don't understand, or there's an issue, don't hesitate to reach out to me at any time. So preparing is obviously the most important thing you can do. Review your objectives for the training. It talks about accommodating the adult learner. And I think, one of the most important things there is that most adults learn by being engaged and relating to their own experiences. And that's why the interaction discussion is really important. Focusing on real life examples. Obviously not discussing any confidential issues or, names or identifying information, but being able to talk about real life examples and anecdotes is important. Encouraging discussions, just, again, giving people an opportunity to ask questions. If you have time, if you have a large group, sometimes it helps to break the group into maybe smaller sections to discuss an issue or a problem. The other thing that I want to mention at this point, along with this training video that's going to be on the website, we do have the case studies from our past summits on there. So those are also available for all of you. If you wanted to supplement the video or supplement any section of the video with a case study that applies to a specific problem or issue or example, those case studies are available. And so I highly encourage everybody to review those and feel free to use those as well. And then obviously as the facilitator, your job is to guide the discussion. And, you know, kind of knowing that kind of reading the temperature of the group, knowing when to step in, when to step out and let them discuss. That kind of comes with experience. And, you know, but the more you prepare and the more you understand the material, the easier that will be. Giving clear directions, facilitating the learning. Obviously, you know, if you're in an in-person setting, you know, you can walk around and kind of talk to people and kind of engage them in person. The good thing about this training, obviously, is that it is digital, so it doesn't have to be done in person. If it's easier for you to conduct your training or it's appropriate in a certain situation, maybe for an individual or a smaller group, you know, you have the ability to do it digitally, kind of like, you know, just like we're doing today. Processing the information, reviewing, you know, again, discussing, going back and reiterating what was just talked about, what was just discussed. And then closure, asking people, how are you going to use this? How are you going to use what you've learned today? You know, when they are back on their jobs. Just some facts about adult learners. And again, some comparisons there. Here's some sample questions to get people engaged. We won't go through all of these, but these are here for you. Something like, you know, what other issues related to this problem should we discuss? Ask participants to do the summary. Questions for ethics scenarios. Even in the video, when you get to one of those vignettes, you can stop the video and say, okay, how could this have been prevented? What would be the way to handle this? So here's questions for that. Here's some training challenges. And this is, you know, again, I think these are really, really, you know, good things to consider that you might, you know, we can review some of these today to talk about, okay, what should you do? Let's see, how about number 3? Participants are hostile and attack the topic, the organization, or the trainer. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? How our experienced trainers, how have you handled a situation like that? If somebody is just not engaged and they're really negative about the training, what have you done? If anybody would like to share? Nobody? Is anybody there?
We must all work in really nice environments where no one
Yeah.
is negative or has any issues. Is that right?
I'll add to, I've got a small department. I've only got 9 people that work in my department, and they kind of look at it as, you know, kind of questionable, but, you know, it's something you've got to make them buy into it.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, not everybody's going to buy into everything immediately. It's our job as trainers to sell them on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I get it. You know, I know that and depending on your job and what your role is in the organization, there can be a lot of training. There is a lot of training that's required. And, so it can be challenging to get people engaged. And so I think, being really enthusiastic about it, being a little bit upbeat, being mindful of people's time. And, those are all things that I think go a long way to setting the stage. And then there's just some people that you're never going to get through to. I would just not let them monopolize or, affect the training. Obviously, if somebody is being really inappropriate, and they're going to derail the session, depending on what your procedures are, you can ask them to leave if they're being disruptive. So.
Paula, I had a situation at a summit a few years ago where I was sitting at a table with a person that I didn't know, who said to me, yeah, I'm only here because somebody wanted me to be here. I learned everything I need to know about ethics in kindergarten. And I thought that was really interesting. And one of the things that I talked to him about was the thing about ethics is that it's not one of those things you learn and you're done. It's not like addition, right? You really have to continue to learn. The world changes, the environment changes. I'm sure in your communities, we just had an election, you have new people coming in, the culture changes. It's always good to have conversations about situations. That's why the case studies, I think, are so effective, because they remind you of certain situations that you can be in, and you have dialogue about it. And often during that dialogue, you'll come up with a situation where a policy that's in place isn't appropriate anymore, or you need to make a change. And so those are the kinds of things that I think people just need to hear, that this isn't like addition or history. It's not factual all the time. There's different coloring on either side of these situations. It's the discussion that really makes a difference.
Absolutely. Thank you. So here's some ways to deal with some problem participants. A rambler, somebody gets off track or talks about issues unrelated. And, again, we're not going to go through each one of these individually. I just want you to know that these tips are here. People that monopolize the conversation, somebody that interrupts. Here we have a reluctant participant. I guess it depends on, what the vibe that they're giving off for their reluctance, right? But you can try to engage them directly. An arguer. I like this one. Let the group deal with the person. Does anyone want to respond to that? Avoid getting into a debate, and certainly don't get emotional. I think that's really important. Just try to be understanding, and one thing I want to share, and you guys have probably heard this, and this just doesn't apply to training situations, but any interaction with people at all, is to always assume positive intent, until somebody proves otherwise, right? But if you assume positive intent, you can derail some emotional interactions. Don't just always assume that somebody's out to screw things or mess things up or whatever, or is being deliberate, deliberately trying to do something. Assume positive intent. I think that's a good way to go into not just this training or, interactions with, but any interaction with anybody. Side conversations. Okay. You can use nonverbal clues, tactfully engage, redirect. So again, this is just another document, some helpful guides and tips that we wanted to provide to all of you to hopefully help you if you've got any questions or concerns. And like I said, feel free to reach out to me at any time. If I don't have an answer to something, I'll get the answer for you. But our job on the commission is to provide support for you in doing this. So however we can better support you, that's what we want to do. I do want, as one last thing, I do want to just share the website. I'm going to access the website and get that up here so everybody could see what that looks like. And see where you could find the training. Okay, so this is the home page of the Shared Ethics website, and it's sharedethics.com. And we have our calendar of our meetings for next year. Okay, here is
He
the.
might be working on it right now. I gave him a whole list of things to do. So,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
great.
yeah. So anyways,
So this is the training page, and you can access, you click on this link, and this will take you directly to the training that we just completed. And you have your table of contents here and all the sections, and there is the link was on the bottom of the home page. Now, I don't know if our website person is going to move that off, because I did ask him to
I think if you click on homepage, if you back out of this and click on homepage, I think you'll find it. I think you were in the
Okay.
calendar section.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So that's fine. I don't know that we need to do that, but you guys know that it's there. I just wanted to quickly show you that it is exactly in the same format that we reviewed today, so you could play it. And but like I said, if you do want to have the videos on your desktop, on your computer, you can let me know. That concludes everything that I was going to present. I want to open it up to everybody for any last questions or comments, concerns, feedback, anything. Do you guys feel comfortable? Do you think that this is this makes it easier? I mean, those of you that have had experience with the previous SEAC training, do you think this is a good direction that we've gone in? Is this a positive thing that we've done? Don't forget to unmute if you want to share anything.
I feel the whole training session is very, very much improved. It's going to be easy to present to our employees. So I think the interaction, it'll drive interaction with the people, and really appreciate all the effort that's been put into this. And as a trainer that's going to be speaking with our employees, I appreciate all of the effort there. So thank you.
Thank you.
And the training tips are amazing. That was really my biggest concern, because I've never done any type of training like this. And so when you say the different scenarios and how to overcome some of the problems, this is really priceless. So thank you very much for including that.
Great. Okay, if nobody else has any comments, I just want to finish with a couple of things. Eventually, I'm not sure when, we'll ask Les to get the all of the materials posted on the website as well. So you'll have access to that. And then this recording will hopefully be posted to the website. I don't know that any of you will want to review it, but it'll be available for anybody in your communities that maybe wasn't able to participate in today's training. And I will send a communication out to everybody, just reiterating that, if anybody wasn't able to be here, they should review the video first and then watch the recording and go through the materials. So with that, I want to thank everybody. I hope I hope everybody thought this was a good use of your time today. And like I said, if anybody has any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me directly. And happy Friday and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you. Great
You
job.
too.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Same to you all.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.